So we were talking about immigration earlier, and thankfully, people are standing up to what's going on in the Trump administration. 575 people, mostly women, were arrested protesting the zero-tolerance immigration policy, including actress Susan Sarandon and Representative Pramila Jayapal, I hope I said that right, from Seattle, Washington. And also joining the protest, although not arrested, was Senator Tammy Duckworth, who just gave birth in April and brought her daughter to the protest.
Her daughter was arrested, though.
Well, knowing the Trump administration.
Is it right? Well, that's not that crazy of a stretch. Also, Senators Jeff Merkley, Ed Markey, and Kirsten Gillibrand attended the protest. Speaking of Gillibrand, who absolutely rules, yesterday she became the first sitting U.S. senator to call for ICE to be abolished. So major kudos to her. Here's what she had to say.
She's also got some positions that are even to the left of Bernie Sanders. She wants to get rid of ICE. Now, what are you going to do with your party if you do come into a majority and you have a significant number, or at least an influence of people who have that kind of a position?
Yeah. Well, I agree with it. I don't think ICE today is working as intended.
Well, you think you should get rid of the agency?
I believe that it has become a deportation force. And I think you should separate the criminal justice from the immigration issues. And I think you should reimagine ICE under a new agency with a very different mission and take those two missions out. And so we believe that we should protect families that need our help, and that is not what ICE is doing today, and that's why I believe you should get rid of it, start over, reimagine it.
The reaction shot of him was hilarious. Okay, but the really important point here, guys, is progressives are winning. So when Kirsten Gillibrand, who started, a year and a half ago as a little bit of an establishment politician, is now outflanking Bernie Sanders on the left. That means the memo is out to politicians in Washington. Go left, go left. The country is left, your voters are left. You can't go left enough, keep going. And of course, this week, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wins, and one of her planks was abolish ICE. So now all sorts of politicians going out, yeah, I meant abolish ICE. Yeah, abolish ICE. Yeah, that's what I meant.
And if you mean it, I mean, look, if you don't mean it, you'll be found out. But Gillibrand's rhetoric is a testament to just telling voters, yeah, I've grown, I changed my mind, right? And again, I don't know whether it'll work when she runs for president. I think she obviously we think she will. Of whether progressive voters will believe that it's a legitimate change of heart, or whether they'll still see her as an establishment centrist Democrat. But your best tactic is just to say, yeah, those things I believed back then, I was mistaken, man. I've listened to the people who support me, and they have persuaded me. It is the message that I'm not advocating for him, but that if he has any hope, that's what Cory Booker just should do. Just say, I have changed my mind. I was wrong.
And I believe that he's followed her on a few of the moves that she's made like
on
this
many of the
before.
issues, he still hasn't done the thing where he says. And I also want to say, I want to take a tiny bit of credit. I want to pull a jank. I didn't. I only bring it up because I think it's so important. Like it's been a couple years now since I started talking about ICE and how they need to change their name, because part of the problem with ICE is she says they got to separate the missions, right? Separate law enforcement and criminal justice from the immigration. Is that they've created this badass name, right? That makes them, I guarantee you, and I'm not kidding, makes them feel badass. Oh, look at us, we're ICE agents and we're going to get it done. And part of this means when they talk about changing the mission, it's to that point, which is no, you're going to become, and we're going to have an agency that deals with immigration issues and not a police force involved in that. Those are separate issues, and that means doing away with the name ICE.
Yeah, you process asylum requests.
That's right.
That's what you do. You are a bureaucrat. You are not SWAT, basically.
Nobody on the left doesn't think immigration is an issue that requires a government agency that is, adept and adroit and competent and able to handle it. And this mission they have misrepresented their mission, and they've turned it into a police force, which is the wrong idea.
And I want to agree with Cenk about that. This is obviously another example where, in the same way that so many of them have been dogpiling on getting rid of corporate PAC money, where obviously progressives are winning. And I understand we've been beaten down for so long that nobody wants to buy it, and that's totally fine. You don't have to buy anything. I don't even know what that would mean. Maybe she doesn't actually mean it. Maybe she'll reverse on it. But even if in a year and a half she doesn't feel the same way, it's significant that she's calling for it now because there is momentum on this issue. It was not long ago that there was one politician who was one elected Democrat who was calling for ICE to be abolished. That was Pramila Jayapal, who was arrested at yesterday's protest. We had her on the Damage Report today to talk about why ICE needs to be taken out. She says, obviously it's gone far beyond its original mission. We're spending ridiculous hundreds of millions, billions of dollars on it. It's a rogue agency with no effective means of actually controlling it. So she did that. She was the first congresswoman. Now we've got Kirsten Gillibrand, the first senator. Something like 9 other representatives, I think, have signed on. Most of them since Tuesday, by the way. We just found out during the break that Nydia Velázquez, another Democratic congresswoman, has signed on. This is amazing progress inside of just a week. And we should acknowledge briefly, although it is not purely female, there are, I believe, Mark Pocan, I think his name is, he sponsored a bill to actually abolish it. It has been led both in the House and in the Senate and amongst candidates like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez by female Democrats. And I'm glad that they're speaking out and they're also protesting. They're putting their bodies on the line as well.
On Saturday, there's going to be a lot more of these protests. Find out where it is in your area. And by the way, one of the ways that you find out and track them is go to facebook.com/rebelhq. That's where we cover these protests, and we cover them from different cities. John will cover it in Los Angeles, but we will have cameras in many of those protests on Saturday. So go to facebook.com/rebelhq. Now, Ben said, I'll pull a jank. Well, I'll pull a jank. So I'll tell you that because nobody ever gives credit. It's certainly not the progressives. And so it's the Justice Democrats. We said no corporate PAC money, and now all of a sudden, not everybody, but a lot of people are saying corporate PAC money. And I remember, you watched it, you saw it all unfold, right? We said no corporate PAC money, everybody said we were crazy. Now we got all these senators saying no corporate PAC money. Then when some of the Justice Democrat candidates, and they were the first, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she led on that, absolutely. She led within the Justice Democrats on that issue. Oh, that's crazy. Now all of a sudden, senators like Gillibrand. By the way, you know who else is a Justice Democrat? Pramila Jayapal. So she was the one arrested in these protests, and she's been a super progressive, no corporate PAC money, super progressive leaders. This is a real caucus now, and these are the leaders of the progressive movement.
It's politically damaging now. It could be politically damaging, and in many races it will be if you take it. Like that'll be a question reporters ask.
All of the high profile, all the people we expect to be running in 2020. I mean, they've already, like they're not waiting even until the primary for it. They want to get that far ahead of it to demonstrate that they actually mean it. And again, doesn't mean you have to trust them. Like I said before, I don't even know what trusting them would actually accomplish in this, but they are not taking it. You can now track that over time.
And guys, after Ocasio-Cortez won, all the press said, oh my God, we missed it. We didn't know there was almost no cameras there except the Young Turks in New York 1 had cameras in our headquarters. And what in the world happened? But what's great about, I said, we're not the Young Turks, you are, right? You guys gave money to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and other wonderful progressive candidates and Justice Democrats, et cetera. You made their races possible. You made these positions possible. You made them popular. And when they were surprised, you weren't, because we'd already done 34 videos on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez before election. So while the rest of the country was shocked, you're the ones who led on that. So thank you as always on that. And we're just getting started. I told you on the night of 2016 election, you don't get sad, you get angry, you get back up and you fight, and we're gonna win. And I said 2018 was gonna be the beginning, and here we are, and it has begun. And wait till you get the rest of 2018 and then the rest of 2020. We are going to be ascendant. We just got to keep going. And I'm super proud that this is the home of progressives. I'm super proud of our members, tyt.com/join to become a member and power this. We are your media. I don't know that a lot of this happens without at least some media outlet, right? And I'm super proud of all of these Justice Democrats that are leading the way for progressives. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.